Hello! My humblest apologies for not posting videos. Now you may say, who the fuck are you? How did you get into my house? Well, to that I say, ouch, but also, I can't blame you. Even I forget who I am most of the time. But anyways, now that my mid-semester is over with, let's talk about tulpas. Tulpas are cool. I love them. Now the reason I made this video is because I read this 4chan schizo arat about some guy overdosing on Adderall to get pecora hallucinations, and I see the word tulpa being thrown around, and that piqued the interest of my little man brain. So I decided to make a video about it so I can get that YouTube views to hopefully help fund my gacha addiction. Now if you live under a rock, just like me, which I assume you don't, you may ask, what the fuck is a tulpa? Well, if you don't mind me mansplaining a little, a tulpa is essentially a glorified imaginary friend that you willed into existence. Now the difference between a tulpa and a psychosis episode is that you generated the tulpa with your mind. So technically, you made it all up. Like an imaginary friend. But unlike an imaginary friend, it is said that tulpas have a mind of their own and experience emotions with their own desires and curiosities. The entire shtick essentially got popularized by the My Little Pony fandom, where they literally thought so hard they plopped a metaphysical being into existence. That or they became the rage, same thing really, and these people essentially formed their own little communities on the nefarious deep web message board 4chan and the wholesome updude app banned in Indonesia. Identifying themselves as tulpamancers, or as I'd like to call them, virgins. It's funny because they don't have sex. Alright, I'm sorry, that was uncalled for. Tulpamancers are alright. I'm glad they found their own friend they can talk to. Or is it made their own friend? Anyways, whilst reading for this video, yes I do that, I thought it would have been relatively cut and dry. I found a Wikipedia article that has a pretty solid explanation on it, but then I decided to read the sources used for the article, and that led me to a Vice article from 7 years ago that explained in depth what tulpas were. And that article led me to a 25-page Google Docs file on the fundamental meaning of a tulpa and how to create one. And I thought, holy shit, the tulpa lore is pretty fucking batshit insane. So let's talk about how we're supposed to create a tulpa, or at least one of the ways. God forbid I delve into the schizo rabbit hole of the tulpa community. But in short, the first thing you need to do when creating a tulpa is you have to really mean it. That means all of you miscreants, delinquents, malefactors, ruffians, hoodlums, hooligans, scoundrels, yahoos, rascals, and vandals can stop watching this video and fuck right off. Please don't do that, I need the views. And the second thing is that you can't create your tulpa so you can use them as tools. This includes using them specifically for sex. Yes, tulpa sex is a thing. Yes, it is deeply controversial in the tulpa community, not because it is literal insanity, but because it hurts the tulpa's feelings. Yes. Let's move on. For making your tulpa, it is unironically more complicated than I expected it to be, but I'm just gonna outline it. First, you need to make your tulpa's homes, which are called wonderlands. It's essentially the place you imagine your tulpa to be in. A tulpa home that can be anything you want as long as you can imagine it. And second, if you really want to, you can mold its personality, how they look, how they sound, any aspects of themselves really. And after all that, you just need to think of them. That's all. Think of them real hard. Now this is called forcing. There are also things called parroting and visualizing. Parroting is when you coax them into talking, and by that I mean you talk to yourself for hours on end, mimicking them. And visualizing is you imagining what they'll look like in certain poses. And once you've done all that, and you start hearing voices, boom! You're schizophrenic now! Congratulations! Now this is obviously a gross oversimplification of the entire tulpamancy process, far too long for a shitpost video made on a Chinese burner phone. Fuck, I even lost the original editing file for this video at some point, so that's why I linked the Google Docs tutorial in the video description. I also linked my socials on it, please give it a follow. But anyways, reading this made me realize the 4chan Anon literally could have just followed this instead of ODing on Adderall, but hey, to each their own. The IRL must have helped him hyperfixate or something. But having a tulpa sounds cool. I'd want a tulpa, but I already have friends who are very real and aren't me in multiple sock accounts circle jerking myself. No, totally not. But I would love a tulpa GF. But because I am lazy and uncommitted to things I aspire to do, I'm just not gonna do it. So in conclusion, tulpas are based, I am lonely, and I need money. That is all for today's video. Like this video if you like it, and like this video if you don't like it, because there is no dislike button. Get fucked, and goodbye.